Hey everybody, welcome back. It's day 32 of 50 Days of Trash, and actually I don't know when you're watching this, but as I record this, it is Groundhog's Day, and Punxsutawney Phil has probably already made his prediction. I am not aware of it yet, but since it's Groundhog's Day, if you are just now getting started, maybe this is a good time to do spring cleaning. And no better way to do spring cleaning than 50 days of trash. So we're on day 32. And so I started out this morning. You've seen me a few times put things aside. And I went to Goodwill. And I checked before I went there. So Goodwill took my books and they took my CDs that I had no use for anymore. And so if you're looking for something, I thought I might do that. I thought I might do a library, but Goodwill takes them. And so that's a quick, easy way, I think, to do it. In my town here in Louisville, Kentucky, their collection, they do it 7 days a week, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. And I'm sure I'll be going back there again. I had, in previous times where we did it, I stuck them in a bin, I had them in my car, and so I took them over there today. And I guess, I don't know, maybe that would even count as one day of trash, as making a trip to Goodwill. But I sat down and I kind of sketched out ideas for the rest of this series. And there's a lot. I mean, there's really probably going to be stuff I don't get to, but at least I kind of have a plan. And so one thing, I started getting into my office, and my office is one of those places that really has a lot of work, and I've been putting it off a little bit because it's such a big task. And I also wanted to do a little research, so I fully anticipated throwing away old statements, investment statements from stocks I had a long time ago, and I was ready to throw them away. I had them ready to throw away, and I thought, well, let me just run that by my accountant. And that's another reason I thought I would do this today. I know a lot of us are probably starting to work on our taxes. And so he told me, I didn't like what he told me. I can't say I was 100% surprised by it, but I didn't like what he told me. I was going to throw out all of these old investment statements, and I had them ready to go. And he said, you have to keep anything that is backs up your tax returns, your financial records, whatever those might be, for 7 years. And I was thinking, I knew you had to keep some stuff, but I didn't think you had to keep all that stuff, and I also didn't think you had to keep it more than 5 years. But what he told me was, as you're working on your tax stuff, he's like, your tax returns, you're supposed to keep those forever. Your financial statements to back up your tax returns, you're supposed to keep those for 7 years. So unfortunately, I had all this stuff and I cannot throw it away. So that was kind of frustrating. But I do have some other things that I can throw away. And so I went through and I found another health insurance claims and information file. And I found yet another health insurance claims and files. And I won't go through those stories again, but that's kind of what that was. And this is mainly health insurance stuff. It has a combination of stuff, but this is also mainly health insurance stuff. Some sort of an instructional DVD that I had. These are actually pamphlets on properties from various places where I've traveled Some were from Panama, some were from Dominican Republic, different places where I had been. And it was kind of cool to get those, and I liked having them, but that's kind of old information, and even though it's kind of cool to have, it really is sort of trash. Now, here is the lion's share of what I have today, and I will not, I know that this would be somewhat like paint drying, but so these are, this is just some of the stuff. I don't know. I think actually I'm better at it than I used to be, and I don't know why. But I would say that it's still a majority. A majority of the things that I'm asked to work on, ultimately I never earned a cent on them. That's kind of the nature of my job. I'll have a lot of people that will come and they will, be looking at things, or, maybe they're searching for a property. Maybe they are getting ready to lease a property. Maybe they're just trying to find information. I've had, people, they've had me come and look at their property. We spend a lot of time. We do a lot of work. We do floor plans. We get everything together. And then they decide not to list it. Or I've had people that have said, hey, I remember a few years ago, probably 4 years ago, I had this group that contacted me. They were very interested in finding multifamily to purchase, and they were very hard to find. And so we built up this whole big thing to search for off-market properties and started sending out mailings and all of this stuff. And I started getting a bunch of places for them to consider. And then when they got them, they weren't so sure. And then ultimately they said, we've decided that we're not going to buy multifamily anymore. Unfortunately, that's just the way my business works. You do a bunch of work that may never earn you a cent. And sometimes it's quite expensive, both in terms of time and resources that you have to spend on it. And so that's just part of the game. So anyway, all of these things, I don't know how many there are. There's a bunch. And this is not all, but this was just all that I had in one area. These are projects I started working on that ultimately never led to anything, and I kept them for a while in case they were, I've kept these for a long time, but that's not unusual for me, because when someone asks you to put it aside, there's always a chance they're going to call you back, and if you throw it all out, then you have lost a lot of time and work, and you have to start from scratch. So I do frequently, put them aside wondering if they're going to come back. But the thing that I don't do is I'm not good about having, 6 months, a year, whatever it might be, to say, hey, let's look at that. If it hadn't been done yet, you can throw it away. So these are all actually, this is sort of my filing system. I have these sheet protectors. And I'll put stuff in a sheet protector. Lots of times that may be all it is for a particular project, but when a project gets bigger, there may be a whole bunch of these things, and then I'll put them in a bigger file, and sometimes I'll put them in a bigger file or a box. You never can tell. But I'm going to go through all of these. As I said, we're not going to do it together because I'm sure that would be like watching paint dry. But I'm going to go through, I'm probably going to save all of the sheet protectors. I will also probably just double check. I try to be very careful about not keeping sensitive information in my files where, it might get out. But I'll probably go through each of these sheet by sheet to double check and make sure that I'm not throwing anything away carelessly that has sensitive information on it. But the things that are all in the clear, this is mainly paper. It will be going into the recycling for the for the paper to be recycled, and I'll probably reuse the sheet protectors. And so that's a start. Now I got to tell you, this is a very small part of what I have in my office, and we're probably going to do that. I'm struggling a little bit with how to do that, because that's a very big task, and it's not something that I'm going to be able to do in a few minutes. It's going to take quite a while, and I know that you guys don't want a 30-minute, hour and a half video of me going through boxes. I mean, that would be horrible. So I haven't quite figured out how I'm going to put that on a video, but we'll get to that at some point down the road. And let's see, so this is day 32. We're down to 18 days. I've sketched out a rough idea of things we're going to do. We'll see if we get to all of them or not. There's other things, honestly, I'd like to do, but we're going to do 50 days. And then at that point, we're going to stop and see where we are. And so anyway, that's it for today. If you're enjoying this, if you like this, please like the video. If you know someone else who might like it, maybe you can share it. And if you like watching hoarders go through their trash, you might even subscribe. And as I have said before, I have a playlist, 50 Days of Trash, where you can catch up with everything. And I guess we'll call it a day. And so hope you'll be back tomorrow for day 33 of 50 Days of Trash. And have a fantastic day. Take care, everybody. Bye.